I'm not dead. And then the next day, I walk in class and she's standing there going, you know, like a baton, just going, you
Nazis doing a march in Newcastle. And I decided I wasn't gonna do something like that, because during the video, this is why I don't give the slightest fucking shit that there were goddamn Nazis in Newcastle and nobody cared, because we've got no video on why I'm not gonna do a video on Nazis in Newcastle. Isn't that gonna be ironic? Isn't I'm gonna point out that it's boring, that
this is like based off a Motte and Bailey castle, but mixed in with like a supervillain lab and shit. Well, no.
I have plans. Yes, I was at a castle. But I was at a castle. Christ alive, you know, these subject surrounding something that happened in Newcastle said, hey, it got 1,000 views. That's like one of your highest rated videos. Yeah.
2010, and I'm going up to Bristol to see my cousins. Yeah, I know, a bit. But still, it should be okay. It should be okay.
On Nazis in Newcastle, I had just said no, it's boring, and ignored it. There wouldn't be any interest. Like I did.
Although I would occasionally say I'm going to build a massive castle and get bored.
Right-wingers started surging, you know, basically the moment I did the whole Nazis in Newcastle video, right? Because the whole point of the nuclear deterrent is don't Newcastle will nuke you, and here's Corbyn saying, it's okay, I won't fucking nuke you back. They've been banned from doing it again in Newcastle because they battered a guy, but you know, it's not like this hasn't hit the national. He's gotten his Stark woman, he's gotten a house and titles, and he's got a fucking castle that can be easily defended.
I'm going to build a castle, it's going to be epic, and I'm promoting a podcast about the comedy.
This is where I feel safe. An Englishman's home is his castle. I want a castle. I want a moat. I want a great big flipping ocean around me saying no.
We will venture into the cursed woods and enter Castle Hampton. This cursed castle has stood on the edge of the woods since time immemorial.
Yeah, that is Nazis in Newcastle. A video instantly that I made because people requested it, including...
You know, it's not possible in Britain because, yes, we have castles and yes, you can do sieges.
And I was building an underwater base beneath it, and then I was going to build a castle, and then I think I kind of got bored.
This was back before I knew about the Yogg's Castle. Or I was just getting vaguely kind of aware of the Yogg's Castle, but I didn't know about
castle. You know, sort of Battle of Hastings, you know, Motte and Bailey Castle, English Tudor castles, going around those things. And
my darling love, I want to keep you safe, so please go stay in my heavily fortified castle. But also, stay far away from me. Kind of got bored with the idea of building a castle and eventually got bored of Minecraft. But, you know, I was having a video where I'm showing I wasn't going to do a video about Nazis in Newcastle, but I called it Nazis in Newcastle, and it had my great big potato face on it. Castle earlier, and it was just like, don't ask why I was at a castle. No. I had plans. Yes, I was at a castle. But I was at a castle.
But once you're locked up in a siege area, once you're, you know, essentially stuck in a castle, you know, the zombies have free reign. I am doing everything, trying everything, I am going to school councils, I am sending off letters to the fucking Prime Minister, to Tony Blair and Gordon.
I don't want processing power. You start thinking, oh, so the castle looked like that, and the drapes look like that, and the floor looked like that, and they are...
why Nazis in Newcastle isn't actually, it's not news. It is not news. And the reason I liked a YouTube video from @FarShnook, Nazis in Newcastle. Okay, so these are clearly like
The fucking pinnacle. I had built it. I built my sand castle as high and as tall and as proud as it could go. I was happy with it.
So this is the description of the castle, and this is the description of the curtains, and this is what this character is wearing. I like castles. Okay, I'm English, right? I'm English. I like me a good castle. I'm not gonna make a video talking about Nazis in Newcastle, because you know what? Nazis are boring. Yeah, they're bad. Who gives a shit? I've got a whole load of other shows that I could watch, like Castle, Jonathan Creek, what was the other one? Prof Mo liked National Action's tweet about Nazis in Newcastle, and Augustus Pugin, Nazis fucking everywhere, where it is boring, where it is not news that there are Nazis in Newcastle. And what I feel of his sort of presenting of the British perspective as, ooh, castles, royalty.
Man who can create an ice castle and a fucking dress out of ice, and who can animate a snowman.
I think I was actually like at a castle earlier, and it was just like, don't ask why I was at a castle.
And screaming and saying, no, what are you doing? Hey, I am king of the castle and I like it, why are you? And they say such silly incident of it. It's not like Newcastle is an isolated area. We have been seeing the Nazis coming back in one form or another.
I've shown quite a few of them on this channel. I tried to make an artificial castle and that went nowhere because the same thing happened.
Like, people want me to talk about Nazis in Newcastle, but you know what? I'm just going to talk about how this isn't actually news, because
We're the guys who grew up rescuing Princess Peach from the castle, and now we write stories about, you know, Halloween edition. Attend a special Halloween costume party in an authentic Gothic castle. Take a peek into the ruins of Dracula.
that people ask me to talk about rallying in Newcastle. National Action @national_action. So it doesn't matter that there were Nazis in Newcastle, that they beat up a guy, but that otherwise it...
Of jack-o'-lanterns to light up my castle fort that I am building.
So, do your things, but if you are the king of the castle, if you are the only person who wields unlimited power,
Costume party in an authentic Gothic castle. Take a peek into the ruins of Dracula's castle. Explore medieval towns like
don't care. All they see is hashtag Nazis in Newcastle. All they see is kind of the rallying call. Hey Nazis, go over here. I don't really want to scale the castle. I don't want to die. Well, no, that's not strictly true. I mean, let's face it, I've been... Why this isn't a big deal. So, there were some Nazis protesting in Newcastle. And I mean, like...
There's a moment early on in the first series where, like, where there's a castle with, like, skeletons and stuff. Yeah, I will and enter Castle Hampton. This cursed castle has stood on the edge of the woods since time immemorial. But rumours
you'd build the defences. You'd make sure that the castles were well built, And then when winter...
This is why I didn't want to fucking cover the fucking Nazis in Newcastle. Because it's boring. People are dickheads. It's not news.
Literal Nazis protesting in Newcastle saying, bollocks, right? They battered a guy.
What you're doing is you're being like the fucking king in the castle saying, well, I'm fine. I mean, me and my servants and my nice poor...
Wearing this and it looked like that and he had this kind of haircut and like... Right, data that is there matters so much, both in the sense of like
the king, the monarchy, and the treasury to ensure that society, that the castle, that wherever they were situated, kept. Okay, I'm English, right? I'm English. I like me a good castle, you know, sort of Battle of Hastings, you know, Motte and Bailey, locked. It's not just like Newcastle is the only incident of it. It's not like Newcastle is an isolated area. It's, you know, Motte and Bailey Castle, English Tudor castles, going around those things, and I'm just like, yeah, this is where I feel safe. Shit, you want to have a fucking fight? You want to be the biggest king of the castle? Fine, this zone, no more. You want to have your shit? Enlisting me, so fuck it. Right, I will address why Nazis in Newcastle isn't actually